Hindi language movie that got directly released in Amazon Prime. The name of the movie is Sardar Udham. Sardar Udham, which portrayed the real-life incidents of Sardar Udham Singh, who had many alias names to hide his identity to complete his mission. Singh traveled in great length and patiently waited for 20 years to avenge a massacre of Jallianwala Bagh. I also found out that while my research that he even acted in 2 Hollywood movies. One is Elephant Boy in 1933 and another is Four Feeders in 1939. Although it's not mentioned in the movie, and I found that quite fascinating. This movie is 2 hours 42 minutes long movie without any songs or anything that what typical Bollywood movie does. And I watched the entire movie without taking a single break, which is very rare for me to do for such a long movie. And this movie did a great job in recreating the era of 1990 to 1940. Production value looks amazing, and cinematography by Avik Mukhopadhyay was absolutely brilliant. And the highlight of this movie, I just kept thinking that why they decided to release this movie directly to OTT and not in theater, because this movie could have been a great theatrical experience too. The production value and due to the production value and everything, the amount of detail that is done in the production design and costume to recreate the era was absolutely amazing. And I'm sure had that they had also used a lot of VFX effect in this movie, but while watching the movie, it's impossible to figure out any green screen or any VFX effect. It was done so neatly and so beautifully. The director of this movie is Shoojit Sircar, who had already made some great movies, but I feel this is my most favorite Shoojit Sircar movie, and it is his best movie so far. The way he used the minimal background music and transport us to the era was amazing. The choice of cast was also very impressive. The director tried to show psychic conditions of various British officers and British armies who carried out the Jallianwala Bagh, and what was going in their mind, what was their thinking, and all that. So all the foreign actors in this movie were humanized, and rather than being just a caricature, which was great. And we must also not forget the character of Bhagat Singh, played by Amol Parashar, and it was very easy to accept him as a 23 years old Bhagat Singh compared to the earlier Bhagat Singh we have seen in Hindi movies, where the person playing is often a bit older, but here he was quite like 23 years. For the role of Sardar Udham Singh, director's original choice was Irfan Khan, and even Irfan Khan was very excited about this movie, but unfortunately he couldn't make it, and Vicky Kaushal steps into the shoe of Udham Singh and did a fabulous job in this movie. From the year 1919, when Udham Singh was just 20, to 1940, when he was grown up to a mature man, Vicky Kaushal really portrayed the growth of Udham Singh beautifully. There are many movies that has already portrayed the Jallianwala Bagh massacre in past. Example, the Hollywood movie Gandhi also portrayed it, and also many Bollywood movies. All we knew was that General Reginald Dyer ordered to open fire to the crowd of 20,000 consist of men, women, children, and killed indiscriminately. And Udham Singh killed Michael O'Dwyer, who was the Lieutenant Governor of Punjab during the Jallianwala Bagh massacre. But this movie spent almost 40 to 45 minutes of this horrific incident of Jallianwala Bagh like no movie ever portrayed before. And the sound of bullets, people shouting, the pain, the wounds, the bloods, and even after the massacre was over, how British government kept the curfew in that area until the next day 8 a.m. morning was heart-wrenching and very difficult to watch. At times it was impossible to watch. You would almost turn your face away from the screen. It was so brutal and so raw and real. It was like a war against armless people, consist of all ages and genders. And how Udham Singh went into that place to find his friends, end up becoming a volunteer, finding people who were alive among the piles of dead bodies. No movie ever portrayed Jallianwala Bagh in such a way, showing the real horror and made us experience that was unleashed by the British Empire on Indian citizens at that time. In contemporary world, the word freedom fighter is often misused, and the line between the freedom fighter and the terrorism often get blurred, and the director tried his best to show and bring up the discussion of ideology that driven the Indian freedom fighters, and how they are separated from they are not terrorists, and how they are ideologically they are separated from being a terrorist, how they were not just mere headmongers who were targeting and killing innocent people, but they had strong ideological values backing their actions, which separate them from being a terrorist, as the word used often for several freedom fighters, and sometimes terrorists use the word freedom fighter. So this the filmmakers definitely bring up that discussions in this movie by not using songs or heavy music. The audience would definitely feel the rawness of the movie, and honestly, I didn't expect this movie to be so dark and so amazing. I really love this movie. My rating for this movie would be 9 out of 10. It was really great, and this is probably the best portrayal of India's independent movement and the pain and difficulties that Indian faced during the British Empire, and this movie was historically accurate too. So I personally believe that this should be a must-watch movie, not only for Indians or the British people, but also everybody to know the experience that people had, and some of the important incidents in the history that were untold and unknown to many people. I don't know how many international awards this movie might win, but I will be very disappointed if this movie don't get few national awards at least. This movie was really absolutely wonderful, and I would say it's a must-watch movie. Write down below what is your opinion for the movie, and if you haven't seen it, you should immediately watch it, because this is a great movie. And hit like if you like this video, and do subscribe the channel, and beside that there is a bell icon. Do hit the bell icon for notification. Share the video if you can, and you can also follow me on my social network site like Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. The links will be given below. Thank you for watching this video. Be safe, take care, and peace.